Life is very interesting. We think we know a lot. I can't say everything because we cannot know everything. We think we know a lot. We think we are good at what we know. We think we have enough knowledge. We think we are really, really good at what we think we are really, really good at. Until you meet someone with a different perspective of life, different understanding on life, different knowledge on life. They're intellectual beings, they're social beings, they're artistic beings, they're street smart beings. There are people who only think in numbers, there are people who think in artsy, there are people who think in law terms. So you will always meet different personalities out in this life. So you will never be perfect. And that is my video for today. But even before I begin speaking on today's video, first of all, I'd like it if you subscribe, if you comment, if you share, and if you like my videos. This is how you're able to support the time that it takes me to do these videos and the research it takes me to do these videos. So let's jump straight into this video. So I'm going to be talking about being gracious and understanding when it comes to relationships. If you've been watching me for a long time now, you know I always say you will meet good people, but they're not perfect. There's no one in this world who is perfect. No one. It doesn't matter how good you are. We all thought certain people were perfect people until certain scandals started coming out. There's no perfection in this world. There's just people trying to be good. And when you grew up in a certain kind of life with a certain kind of family, remember the person you fall in love with, the person you fall in love with or fell in love with grew up in a very different setting, a very different home, very different neighborhood, different house. Concept of life was different. Each of our parents, guardians, grandparents, whoever brought us up, even if it's the streets, by streets I mean the tough life, someone brought you up to be a certain way. And I always talk about good people, meaning I do not talk about manipulators, narcissists, controllers. Those are not the kind of people I talk about. So when I talk about being submissive in relationships, being there for that person, not embarrassing their names in public, I'm talking about people who are worthy of this kind of treatment. Yeah, so just so you understand my basis. So your significant other grew up very differently from you. Even though you grew up in the same neighborhood, same gated community, same suburb, same ghetto, wherever you grew up together, it doesn't matter. The house determined the different way of the way the person thinks. So their parents, guardians, whoever it was, made them follow a certain way of life. And they did a good job. But it's different from the good job your parents did, what your parents did, your grandparents did, whoever it was. Very different. That's why when two people come together, they are very different. One comes in with a perspective of, this is how I was taught to love, and this is how I will love my significant other, and vice versa. But the thing is, you realize that this person doesn't see that as love and this other person doesn't see that as love. So that's where understanding and grace comes in. You need to realize you're two very different human beings with two very ways of thinking, and you need to come together to understand how each one of them needs to be loved. That's why in 2022 I did a video on breaking down the different love languages, so that you know how to speak to your man or woman in the way they want to be spoken to, and not the way you want, because the way you want is not the way they want. It's two very different things. And that's when you learn that relationships are not as easy as ABC. There's a lot of work that needs to be put in. So you need to be understanding. You need to be willing to learn. You need to be willing to be patient and understand that this is the good man, this is the good woman that I have, but they don't think like me. The world would be a very boring place if we all thought the same. That's why we have different kind of people. We have extroverts, introverts, and the in-between, So we cannot be the same. So when you come into a relationship with someone, do not come with a picture of how you've been having fairy tales and fantasies and expectations of this is the way I'll be treated. You started imagining how this man will treat you, how this woman will treat you. No. Understanding comes with having those very vulnerable conversations and saying, you're really good to me, but this is how I perceive love. This is how I perceive this. This is how you have to have these hard conversations. You cannot run away from hard conversations, because you'll always, if you stay with expectations for too long, you'll brew bitterness, you'll brew anger, you'll brew irritation, and then one day you'll blow up and they think all things are well and good, and then they realize, so this person was never really happy. So talking about it is part of learning to know someone, because again I say, you're different, you're not the same. Because even siblings growing up in the same house with the same parents will always have different personalities. So if that happens that way, what about love relationships? So what I would love to term this is, when you're in the dating stage, get to have these hard conversations. Let your partner know how you want to be loved. Understand how your partner wants to be loved. It will make it so much easier in life for you. Now they know, because I've said this so many times, people don't know what's going on in your mind. People are not mind readers. You need to speak out so that you're heard. If you want to fight for your rights in the office, if you want to fight for your rights in a country, whatever it is you want to fight for your rights, your voice has to be heard. You cannot sit in silence and expect to get what you want. So that's the same thing with relationships. Say what's bothering you. So this means, again, to my topic, you have to be gracious. By being gracious is be patient to listen to what this person has to say. Be gracious and patient to wait. Because just because you've said it today doesn't mean 5 minutes from then it will be immediately changed. Change takes time. And when you're seeing your partner is really working hard at trying to change, trust me, they are a very good person, because they can do that thing that they were used to doing, then they say, oh, forgive me, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot you had mentioned that this is how you want it done. Oh, I'm so sorry, I did it that way and I had forgotten. I'll get it. I promise I'll get it, and I'm really working hard at it. And many times you will see the actions. Very many times. So just be gracious, be understanding, be patient. Don't rush. A relationship is like cooking the best meal that takes hours in the oven, or takes hours to boil. Or this smoky meat that I've seen, I think, where you dig a hole, then put the meat inside, then cover it up, so you basically bury the food and let it slow smoke. That's a relationship. A relationship is not a quick noodle fix in a microwave. So please be patient, be understanding, and be very gracious, because in those times mistakes will be made. Again, I will keep repeating every video, your partner is not perfect, so mistakes will be made, so you have to be gracious. And you, my dear, the one listening to me, you're not perfect either. It doesn't matter how good you are not perfect.